Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and it's a bright, sunny, cold Monday morning. I'd like to start off by talking about something that came to the letterbox today. This was a card that came from Geraldine, and Geraldine sent me a card. I don't know how she got my address. I don't even know who Geraldine is, but she says, "Dear Nicola, wishing you a very happy Christmas and a wonderful new year. Thank you for being an inspiration. Kindest regards, Geraldine." And I want to say from the very bottom of my heart, thank you, Geraldine, because you cheered up my Monday morning enormously. You just never know when you're having an effect on people. And I don't know whether Geraldine's been on my mailing list for a long time. I don't know whether she's an ex-client because she didn't sign her surname. But she just made the effort to send me a Christmas card and write in it and put a stamp on it and then post it. I mean, all of these are amazing things in this day and age. And I just want to tell you, Geraldine, how much that's affected me. Let's talk about another couple of people who could have been or were inspirational. I was watching Neil Oliver's programme on Saturday night. I was watching it on Sunday, actually, on Catch Up. And he had two entrepreneurs on there because it was an entrepreneurial slot. In fact, he had three entrepreneurs on the show. He had Jo Fairley, who was the lady who started Green Blacks. And he also had a young gentleman called Liam, who owns a window company in Maidstone. And then he had a very much more experienced entrepreneur whose name, I'm sorry, I didn't catch. They were all there ostensibly to inspire entrepreneurs because according to the National Statistics Office, there are 810,316 new businesses started every single year in the UK. And that was just in 2021. So I imagine a lot more were started this year. So that's nearly 1 million businesses every year starting in the UK alone. Imagine what's happening globally. So this segment of the show was designed to try and inspire people who are starting their business. And they went to Jo Fairley first, who told a story of having wandered past her new husband's office desk and found a couple of pieces of chocolate on there, which she picked up and ate. Well, it's a bit suspicious. You wouldn't be able to eat someone else's chocolate in my house, but there you go. And it was so delicious, she decided she wanted to track it down and then start selling it into the UK supermarkets. Well, there was a few nice little tidbits that came out. First of all, I have to say that Jo Fairley, she came across as a very nice woman, but she did let slip a few little tidbits during the interview. And I went and looked her up afterwards. And it turns out that her new husband was only the head of Whole Foods UK. That's a company that wasn't able to sell things that had added sugar. So this chocolate bar that was on his desk that he couldn't sell in his Whole Foods empire, it suddenly inspired his new wife to start her own business. And I found all of that very suspicious indeed. The other thing that made me laugh a lot was that she started her business with £20,000 that she'd apparently got from selling a flat. Most of the million or so entrepreneurs who start a business every year in the UK do not have £20,000. Now, it's obviously very nice if you do, but if you don't, you have to learn how to start a business, run a business, and market a business, most importantly, on absolutely zero to start with. And every single business I've ever started has been what's called bootstrapped. And that's what they call it when you're starting a business from scratch with no outside investment. So while Green Blacks was ostensibly bootstrapped by Jo herself, she had quite a lot of big guns in her corner, notably her husband's contacts. And I think that she also had a lot of very good advice from her husband, who successfully started and was running a business like Whole Foods. Now, the other interesting thing that came out in that was that she kept mentioning the new company she was working on, but she didn't say it was her company. She said it was a company designed to help entrepreneurs. And she said several times that you should go and check this website out and that you could download a free ebook that would give you the 20 steps to starting a company. She fumbled the pronunciation of this website several times and said .com a couple of times and then corrected herself and said .co.uk. And as an amusing aside, this is something that I have done on many occasions in my past, is start a business, give it a name I can't pronounce very well, and then buy the domain name. And it's only when I come up against the blistering wit and honesty of my sister Sarah, when I try and explain to her the excitement I have about this new business and I try and tell her what the name is, she always says in her dry way, "That's easy for you to say." Then I realise that business name won't fly and I'm going to have to change it. So the first bit of advice I'd give you right now is always name your business something you can say out loud. secure the domain name and brand it into your brain, whether it's a .co.uk or whether it's a .com. And if you can't get the business name you want as a .com, because that's what everyone naturally says, then think about a different business name, because getting on telly and saying a company name that you can't pronounce very well, .com, and then changing it to .co.uk does not look very inspiring. My little niggles apart with Jo Fairley, I still have a lot of admiration for her, because I have admiration for anybody who starts and runs a business in this country. 400 to 500 businesses go bust every single day in this country, which is pretty sad when you think about it. I'm going to end on a high now, because I'm going to tell you about Liam. And in fact, I'm going to swap to sharing my screen about Liam, because let's just share the details so I don't get any of them wrong. Liam was on the show, and he's a 25-year-old window cleaner who is scrubbing road signs for free to improve safety and give back to the community. Now, I don't know whether Liam's got someone in his background who's an experienced entrepreneur, and I don't really care, because he came across as entirely authentic, and he started telling the story, and he was very good in that he kept bringing it back to giving back to the community. And he was driving along the road one day in Maidstone, where he lived, and he noticed that their road signs were absolutely filthy. Now, this is probably something that used to be done by the local council or the road safety people, but not anymore, apparently. It looks like it's a victim of the forthcoming recession. And he stopped his van, he got his kit out, and he cleaned the signs. And very cleverly, he started videoing himself doing this and then putting them on YouTube. Liam Wildish, here we go. He started scrubbing signs in Maidstone. He's already become a notable local figure. That's because he started posting his videos onto the Facebook page for that town. Isn't that incredible? Now, whether he's a naturally born gifted marketer, or whether he had some advice, or whether he started doing it out of a genuine altruistic reason, and then he realized he could turn it into something that might make him, you see, makes himself noticeable now, always dressed in a red cap and his bright blue company jacket. And his business has absolutely taken off. And why shouldn't it? The interesting thing was that they kept talking to him as if it was him going to be cleaning all the windows and cleaning all the road signs, because they were saying, how are you going to cope with the workload? How are you going to balance it out? Are you going to carry on cleaning the road signs, or is that going to go by the wayside as you try and fulfill all your new clients? So the first thing to think about there is he is not going to be the one who is going to be cleaning all the windows or cleaning all the road signs. He said at the moment he allocates Fridays to road sign cleaning, and that may well have been the case right at the very beginning. But I think what's actually happening is that his business is growing so fast now that he's probably hired someone entirely to clean the road signs, or hired someone to clean the windows while he goes and cleans the road signs. And I definitely got the impression that he was expanding into other areas, and that the first thing he does when he goes to a new area is to start cleaning the road signs. This is brilliant. I mean, if you do a search for Liam, actually, if you do a search for window cleaner cleaning street signs, so this is another thing, if you ever get on telly, you need to make sure there's something on Google that will enable people to find you just by your name. So if you search Nicola Cairncross, you're going to find pages and pages and pages of my blog posts, of my different businesses, of my books, of my YouTube videos. And sure enough, when I did a search I didn't know his name without looking it up on GBNews on YouTube. I didn't know this chap's name this morning. So I went and I typed in window cleaner cleaning street signs, and you can see that video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4, all about Liam, and that's right at the top of Google, because of course Google owns YouTube, and if they can show a video at the top, even above all the ads, then they're going to. Look, just news article after news article after news article. It's absolutely fantastic. And of course, I found this totally inspirational, because not only is he doing something amazing for the community, and you need to be sitting thinking, if you're in a business that is trying to attract local business, what could I do for the community that would enable me to get so much free press and publicity and get invited on GBNews, ideally. He was very good at keeping the conversation firmly focused on how important it is to give back to your community, rather than how many orders he was getting in now. And there was another entrepreneur there who just sat in, as I would have done, in fact, sat in absolute amazement and admiration for this kid. Inadvertently or not, that is probably the best marketing launch activity that he could possibly have stumbled across. So wherever you're looking for inspiration for your business, or if you're looking for inspiration for a new business, keep your wits about you, keep your eyes open, and you can pick up ideas from all over the place. Now, I don't know how Liam feels when he gets up in the morning, but I imagine that he knows that if he goes out and cleans a few more road signs, something's going to happen in his business. And that's the real key to being a successful entrepreneur, is to be able to keep getting up and keep going even when things look very difficult. And I imagine that Jo Fairley had some difficult days too, in spite of all the advantages she had when she was starting her business. I imagine there were days when she thought, this isn't going so well. How can I inspire myself to keep going? There is a key in all this to finding how to inspire yourself to keep going, and it's to do something nice for someone else. Because Liam's out there and he's doing something really nice for the people in the towns that he's opening his business. And Geraldine inspired me by sending me a card. And I don't know who I'm inspiring out there. Geraldine, obviously, but there might be more of you out there. So I don't know that I'm doing that. And Geraldine inspired me to keep going this morning. And anyone who makes a comment on the YouTube videos that I produce inspires me to keep going. People watching Liam will now be inspired to start a business, and they've also got a great marketing idea. What can you do for your community to get you known really, really quickly? I'd just like to say, in conclusion, you don't need a 20-step plan to start a business. I actually started one of my most successful businesses following the 7-Day Startup book by Dan Norris. Dan Norris started a craft brewing company in Australia following his own 7-day startup plan. It's called the 7-Day Startup. You don't learn till you launch. And that's why I was not impressed with the 20-step ebook that Jo was giving away, because the first 5 pages were all about research. And actually, any research you do in the early days of a business is completely academic. You don't learn anything till you make an offer to a customer. And I've talked about that in a couple of the other videos. I'll put the links to those videos underneath here. But go and check out Dan's book. I found it incredibly practical, very helpful, and he used it himself, as I say. So you can get inspiration from all places. But if you're feeling bad about your business one morning, why not get up and do something great for someone else that will inspire someone else to have a great day, and it will come back to you. Because, in fact, I hope you, Geraldine, have a fantastic Christmas. See you tomorrow.